Hi. Hey, how are you? Hi, Lori. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And I guess this is our second. No, this will be your second. We tried this a year ago, I believe,
Yeah,
and the timing everything just didn't work out. And
yeah.
so, I mean, it's like pushing a rope uphill. There's no point forcing it if we know it's not going to work.
And
And so I'm so glad because we spent a whole year just shoving things into our heads. And so now it's all going to come out. And I think
right.
this floodgate that we have just opened up, I think it's going to be great.
I think
These
so.
these conversations are going to be so great, so enlightening. And I hope, and I'm really, really hoping that, well, number one, that all my technology works for me. So for those of you that are coming on right now, I had a technological um, glitch. I'm just going to say glitch. I'm not going to go any further because I don't want to manifest it again. But yeah, so technology, we just need that to be on our side, and I think it will be. I think it will be fine. Anyway, so the topic, what we're going to talk about tonight is the 2025 predictions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a top-notch year. My name is Linda, and this is Lori Paul.
Hi.
And we are, I mean, we before we even
First,
started recording, we had some great conversation. I'm like, oh, we need to record this. We can't let this go to waste. We got
hmm.
to record it. However, we can continue on. So, where should we start?
So I'm just gonna delve into it. So hi everyone. People who don't know who I am, my name is Lori Paul. I am Mi'kmaq from Wassahuba First Nation in Nova Scotia, Canada. Um, I am a spirit talker. We actually call them the Wasuabit, which is a spirit woman in our language. I'm also a ancestor talker, been drummed in as our official talker in at one of our powwows or Naomi gatherings. So I do a lot of healing work, and my new title is now Sage Healer. Sage being person that sees and talks to ancestors and does a lot of healing that way. And the healer has been something that's followed me all of my life. Um, don't know how long I've been a medium for. I'm 51. Didn't say at 6 years old, great, I'm a medium. It just has always been that way. First started talking to my cat when I was young, don't even know the age, and then realized that my cat, I didn't have a cat to talk to, but I saw her. She existed. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. And so I'm here to do so. I've been doing this work for about 35 years now. So since I was about 15, 16, I started doing work. Still have my original deck of tarot cards that I used. Love them. I retired them because they got really old and ratty. But let's talk a little bit about 2025. 2025 is going to be one of those years that people are going to go, wow, okay, it's time for me to kind of rest on some things, but put things into action. So 2024, the last couple of years, we're really coming back off of a crappy, shitty 2023. And 2024 was a leftover 2023. 2024, I don't know if y'all have noticed it, but it went by like this, like right from January all the ways to December. We might have had a June that was slow, and we might have had November that was slow. But other than that, everything was really quick. And things that happened didn't happen so quickly. If I reflect back in 2024, I got into a car accident on July 5th, and it took them until September the 20th to solve that accident. So that's how bad, slow things went, but everything happened quickly, the months as they were going through. This year is a little bit different. things are going to happen fast, but they're going to have meaning. You're going to stop and understand them. We just were having a little bit of conversation. I'm from Canada, so we're affected by Trudeau. So I'm going to go right into politics. I had a prediction last year, unfortunately, about Trump getting shot. And I put that out there, and I said, this, I see something happening. I also see something happening with Biden this year. And I know he's leaving presidency and Trump is coming in. Again, I have no opinions about that, or I do, but I care not to share them. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a mess. And there is going to be something that Biden's not going to be in this world much longer. Physically. Doesn't mean that he's going to die by any means. Kind of what it means is that he's going to check out. He's already checked his mind out now. It's going to be a full checkout, probably the middle of January. We'll probably still physically have him around, but I don't know if you want to put that in there, Linda, but whatever.
Well, I'm just going to interrupt you just briefly. Now there are news sources that say that what we're seeing isn't actually him.
Right. I did research that one. It is him. It's just not the version of him that was in the presidency.
It's so when you have dementia,
Mm-hmm.
and as people know, like a lot of us have had experience with somebody who's had dementia,
Mm-hmm.
and what you do is you regress into a child, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yep.
his child version. Okay.
You're actually what I found in the spirit realm of things is it's a lot easier to connect with people who have Alzheimer's or dementia or who are autistic in that state. That's where we connect. And they're absolutely brilliant and they have so much insight about things. With Biden's spirit, it is in the dementia thing. He's there, but he's not 100% there. So he's hopping in between. He's walking the both worlds. It's different for him because he's gone back to about the age of 17, 18. So if you look at his mannerisms, how he gets very playful, very happy, and then angry all at the same time, that's a 17, 18-year-old him. And that's kind of where his mind has gone back to. Now, having said that, I believe unfortunately, Trump is almost there too. I'm noticing the same kind of mannerisms in a different way with Trump. Now, he's going to be a lot longer before him to take to get there. He has a very forgetful mind. And people are going to shoot me for saying this, they're going to hate me for saying this, but he doesn't have the cruel intentions that people think he does. He has he has a Leo moon. So Leos are very they like to be in a leadership role. They're like, look at me for like 7 seconds. And they're all about their hair. 100% describes what his ascendant, sorry, is a Leo, not his moon, his ascendant, meaning that that's the way the world sees him.
Yes. Yes.
So having that as an ascendant, as a Leo, makes so much sense to me. It also tells me that he doesn't want to be seen as being cruel. They're very loyal to certain people. He may not be in a relationship with other people, but in other things, he's very loyal. So people don't want to hear that, but that's not an opinion. This is a factual thing. He doesn't want to be cruel. I don't know if he understands 100% of what's going on in this world. And that's why I feel like there's going to be some trouble coming for him in 2025. It's not going to be something he can't get out of. The problem is that people already don't like him, but there's already people who love him. So there's no in between.
Mhm.
And that's going to
Yes.
be a tough thing for him to see through. His legal troubles, they're going to go away.
Yes. And
They're just gonna go away.
what I noticed, and I don't think he did this last time when he was first elected back in 2016, but he jumped right on choosing his staff members like immediately, like the day after
Yeah.
the election.
He didn't do that, and he's going to surprise people because Kennedy is not really going to get chosen the way Kennedy wants to get chosen. He has another agenda. So he kind of flopped parties because he thought that's what was going to bring him where he wanted to be. That's not where Trump sees him, unfortunately. And I think he didn't, but I think this time he's thinking a little bit more. And what he's going to do is choose some people that you would never have thought him to choose. There is going to be some fighting in and amongst people that are in his life because we are seeing him groom Vance to be the next president. I see him stepping down early, or something is going to happen and having an early into the presidency. First time in the history that will ever happen. So he might go through 2.5 years, and then it'd be like something is going to happen that he's going to have to step aside or step back. Not necessarily an impeachment, but I also see betrayal coming for him from within. So not necessarily see Vance, I'm not sure if he's right for the job, let's just say. But then I also don't see anybody else that's right for that job either.
I see Vance as being the strongest one who is around the table right now. He's the strongest one.
He's the strongest, yeah. So he would be probably, though, he would be the strongest snowman.
Yes.
Right? He would have all of his corncob pipe, his button nose, and two eyes made of coal, where everyone else has got their buttons done, or scarf, or whatever. But what I'm seeing is people crossing the floor, or him crossing the floor, or even getting an independent. So that is kind of, so hold on to our seatbelts, because that's what's going to happen. I don't want to say there's going to be a civil war, but there's going to be some fighting amongst people. Last year, I was like, there's going to be some kind of a civil war that's going to happen in the next 2 years. It's kind of eased back a little bit. Just get in there and see what he's going to do a second time around. How this is impacting Canada, though, is that he's made remarks about making us the 52nd state or whatever. Not going to happen. The issue is that the US needs us more than we need them.
We're a very rich country.
We are very rich. And it's because of the tariff, like putting a 25% tariffs is going to hurt the country. So that's where you need to have a strong prime minister sit down with a strong president. And I don't want people after me when I say things like this, or Donald Trump coming after me or whatever. But I don't see him being as strong. Like, we have two, not weak like average, if that makes any sense. So Trump coming in to speak to Trudeau shouldn't be where he's at anyway. Trudeau's going to I'll go into Canada in a second, but the two of them together, they both want to be very powerful, and they both want to bring so much to the table, but neither one of them really know what they're talking about. Especially when it comes to tariffs. They don't have the right information being given to them in the background. They're talking.
Yes.
That makes any sense. So what Canada needs is somebody who's very strong, very much a stronger person that knows a lot more about economics.
You know who I thought? Leslyn Lewis. Leslyn Lewis, I'm telling you, that's who I would have voted for her.
What party is she with?
She's Conservative Party of Canada.
Okay.
So she's the one that sits right beside Poilievre in the House.
She's
amazing.
She would be very, very good, and that may sway some votes for the PC. The issue we're having with Poilievre is that he's a liar. And people are starting to see that. And what's happening is in Nova Scotia, where I'm from, where we voted back in our premier, who is PC. However, they voted him back in as a retaliation against Liberals when he didn't do with his campaign promises the first time around. right? So it's more like a retaliation against a party instead of actually voting for the party. That's not going to happen to Polyev because what they look at is what's happened in Alberta, what's happened in New Brunswick, what's happened in other provinces that are led by PCs.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I'm talking very little, like I'm talking politics. People have probably tuned out by now, but
Yeah,
Trudeau will step down. Why he hasn't stepped down yet is because he does not have anybody competent enough to go up against Trump. The ones that he does have, he's not confident enough in them, and they're women. So, because we had Kim Campbell many years ago that cleaned up Joe Clark's mess
yes,
coming in, she wasn't given a quite wonderful opportunity to do that. She came in and cleaned up a mess of somebody's and then got blamed for everything. They still
she,
hold on to that,
yeah,
just like they hold on to what happened to Daryl Dexter in Nova Scotia 15, 20 years ago. Not saying he didn't do anything right or wrong, but they can't let that go.
it's the mess that you have to clean up. And
Right.
now Polyev is saying that like he's coming out and saying, don't expect things to get fixed right away. So are we talking 3, 4 years we see a difference? He's got to be he has to come in with a clean slate in order for us to see that he's doing a good job. Otherwise, we're just going
And
to see
it's
mess.
too many things that have happened in the past with Polyev and his
Mhm.
party as well, because he has also spoken about separatism and being separate. And so now, me being an Indigenous woman has seen him don a headdress. Same thing Trudeau did. Don a headdress, made 94 recommendations about how 94 calls to change when 10 took place. Polyev has now said, oh, we're going to do away with the reserve system. We're going to rewrite our Indian Act. It's very important to us as Indigenous to look at that and go, no, no, no. It was your party that brought out the white paper, and you introduced a white paper 3.0 or 2.0. So we got to look at that in that way. And the reason why he's doing this, we can see through it, is because of Quebec Hydro. And that is owned by the Indigenous bands up there. Every single time they go to separate, they are told no, because Quebec Hydro is owned by them, and we want to sell back to them, or Indigenous want to sell back to them when they separate at twice the price. Why not? It's capitalism. So if you
Mhm.
can come in, if he can don a headdress and pretend that he is on the good side with our people, then maybe the separatist talk will go away. Da, 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 da. It hasn't. And he hasn't made any amends with that. It's okay. And then the same thing with Trudeau. Now, Trudeau hasn't found a replacement yet because he just doesn't have the confidence enough. He is going to probably call an election in February. His best bet is to step down before February, or do the announcement on one day that he's stepping down and the next day call an election.
Now, do you think
Mhm.
uh, uh, removing Chrystia Freeland was strategic?
I think I'm going to opposite side that one because everyone's on her side, right? They're all like, oh, he tossed her out the door. I think that Trudeau is paving a way for him to be blamed for everything because
I agree.
right?
Yes,
But he's not, like I said, I don't want people coming after me for saying these things.
it's okay.
He's not as bad as what the media is portraying him to be. So I think Krista Freeland wanted more than what he could give. And he wanted to, she talks about a phone call that they had about him asking, telling her to step down or to do this, 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 and this. She's a deputy leader, right? She couldn't have been prime minister. So if he was going to step down, it would have been her that would have taken the place, right?
Exactly. And this is why I'm wondering if it was strategic.
It was
That's
very strategic
okay.
because the other person that wants it, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, he used to be the head of INAC, Indian and Northern Affairs Canada, but he's now immigration minister. I don't know his name, but he is he wants it.
Mhm.
And he's not prepared for that. There's not really anybody in the political party for her, like for him to go at this moment. So this is why it's taken so long for him to step down. But he's also wants all of the blame for himself because he wants to self-preserve the party. So when he's out, he's like, it was all my fault. I know it sounds crazy and weird, but you're right.
Yeah.
It was 100% strategic. And she's leaving with huge pensions. She's leaving with face,
Yes.
right? With
Yes.
her face on. And he's okay with that. Benoit Canoe, NDP, keep him in your head, because give him 5 or 10 years and he is going to be where our lovely opposition leader is. My God, what's his name? With
Jagmeet?
yeah,
Jagmeet Singh?
yes, Jagmeet Singh. Yes,
Jagmeet.
yes, Jagmeet Singh. I call him Jagmar. I don't know why I get names.
I
Those
don't
names.
know.
I'm so bad with names, but Singh, he's going to come up in Singh's place. Singh is in a great spot, and he's going to remain in that spot. It's not going to be about a Liberal Prime Minister or a PC Prime Minister. It's going to be about an NDP official opposition. So it's great if Poilievre can make friends with him now, because if his party wins a lot of seats, they're still not going to win the majority. So they're always going to have to go back to the NDP for that. And that's going to take place for the next couple of years as well. So even when the election happens, I can't give you a name of the person that he's going to take over, but I feel like the person that they're going to get in the spot of the Liberal, you're going to see them be somebody out of the blue, and they're going to be almost either a minority or somebody that other people can relate to, because we're done with that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
he couldn't go head to head with Trump. He could, the two of them could go head to head with one another, but they're too into their hair to do anything.
Yes.
Like
And
they both be flipping their hair and
yeah, and you can see where Trumpy is starting to look a little tired. He did have a rough couple of years, so
I,
he
I
is
don't
getting tired.
I don't think he was expecting, honestly, I don't think he was expecting to be the president again. I think he's a puppet. A lot of people have said that.
Mhm.
And I kind of agree with that one. I'm looking at things from a different perspective, because he's kind of a puppet. He's kind of saying, this is where I'm at, but he's also a face as well. Like, if you notice how when he, like,
Yes.
they
Yes.
choose people that are like, Biden is a true person, but they look at Biden, the things that Biden have done has been escalated up here.
Yes.
The things that Trump has done has been escalated here. But when you're comparing the things together, if a normal person that wasn't in office did those things, it would have been astronomical what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and then back to Canada. I mean, what I would love to see, I would love to see a prime minister that was going to be from African Nova Scotia, African Canadian, sorry, as I'm trying to get out, an Indigenous, somebody who has, from an immigration standpoint, that's what I'd like to see, a multicultural prime minister. It will come. It may come 2027, 2028, but it's going to come. The whole world is in upheaval. The wars are like, if we noticed how bad the wars were all over the world in 2024, you've gotten all these fighting. But if you notice the last few weeks, they've calmed. Not saying they're over, but like things have calmed. They're not in the head of the media. So this year, we're going to start questioning the media a little bit more. What do we see and what is true and what isn't true? Which is what we did 5 or 6 years ago after the jab.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. You had a divide of people that did not take the jab or whatever, or who did. And there was a big divide, but you had a lot of people with conspiracy theories. just theories that were different from everyone else's, all that kind of stuff. So, you're going to see that happen again. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the world, like the politics between Canada and the US. I'm not sure where Mexico is standing with that. Something's telling me there's going to be some upheaval in Mexico. Down in the
Hmm.
South America, same thing. There's going to be some fighting down there. The a lot of politics happening. So, but all of this is going to turn out great for North America. Canada's going to come out above water, and so is the US. They're
Hmm.
actually going to come out with a stronger bond by the end
Yes.
of the year, no matter who's in office in either spot. Everyone's always going to have their opinion about what they think, and everyone's going to direct their way to the way that they think. So
Hmm.
if you even Google something and say, tell me what Trudeau did wrong in this prime ministry,
You're gonna get a
you're going
laundry
to get it.
list.
But
Yeah.
if you say, what did Trudeau do right? Here's your list.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This
So,
compared to this. Yeah.
right. Or is it because it's perspective too? So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is wrong. The list is written by somebody who thinks on he did this wrong. But who are saying it's right, this list is the people that are looking at it from a different perspective too. So it's all how it affects you. So you could talk about how how Trudeau did things that were like, he stole money from things. Yes, he did. Never a good thing. However, there was also other people that did that as well within that scandal, right all the ways down. So if you go through all of his scandals that he's done wrong, you
Yes.
also look now at the fact that he is giving a break on the GST to people until the middle of February. If that was somebody else doing that, it would be right. But now we have
Yeah.
other political parties telling it's wrong. So is it right or is it wrong? That's a good thing, or is it a bad thing that he's done that?
Again, perspective. Yes.
Right. It's all about perspective. And
Yes.
our perspective is going to change in 2025. 2025 is about changing the way we look at things. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Mm.
So it doesn't mean that you're going to automatically become a Polyev follower or a follower of Singh. It doesn't mean that. It means that you have looked at the issues or looked at that issue and go, how does that affect me? And
Hmm.
developed your opinion about how it affects you or your family member. Homelessness is a very thing that's close to my heart.
Hmm.
Spending 2.5 years as a homeless person, living in shelters, living in my car, spending nights on the street. Done that. I don't have any issues with what they paint others to have. So when they talk about how they have homeless people in encampments that have drug issues or alcohol issues, mental health issues, those are not things that, those are people that they put on there so they can make people believe that that's what's happening. I'm none of those.
Hmm.
I fell into a category that slipped between the lines because, you know, it was a big issue. So when people talk about homelessness and opening up encampments and opening these things up and all these people going in about, oh my God, it's all about the drug abuse and all these kind of things. You got to look at it in a different aspect. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to take somebody in the political system, a daughter, a granddaughter, grandson, nephew, that's close to a politician for them to realize what's going on. And that's
Hmm.
what's going to happen in 2025. They're going to change, flip flop. And then
Hmm.
that's going to bring the people back to that. So there's lots of ways we could solve that, but that's an issue that's really close to my heart. And I will always talk about that, how I, just with a lot of kindness of strangers and even the fighting that I had to do to get where I'm at. Right. I still, if I have it, I share it. And that's a big thing for me. If I have it, I share it. If I don't have it, I share what I have.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So the perspectives are all going to change this year. It doesn't mean you're a different person, just means your perspective and the way you look at things change because your circumstances have changed.
Yes. And so are you seeing, well, a lot of eyes are being opened. A
Mhm.
lot of us. and I am going to include myself in this, because right now, like I have these great friends that are letting me stay here because I too am homeless and have been
Mhm,
for
mhm.
almost
See?
going on
Yep,
3 years,
yep,
and a lot to do with the infighting with governments
right.
and
Mhm,
the whole jabby thing, had a lot to do
yep,
with it.
yep.
Where was I going with that? So, where can you see, or where can you see our personal finances start to shift for the better? And
So,
and I'm not just talking about myself,
no,
overall.
overall, you're going to see us not change till 2026. However, the slight changes in 2025. Now, these new housing projects that are being built, what's going to end up happening is you're seeing a whole lot of incomplete construction. They're going to be forced to finish that construction. Nobody is going to rent them. Or you're going to have a mix of people that are going to be like paying 5 grand a month and people that are paying 500 a month,
Mhm.
because in order to get people into that. So we're going to kind of go back to where it was about 9 years ago when you had apartments be based on what you made kind of thing. And they would place ads in the newspaper offering incentives to rent them. That's what's going to happen in 2025. So that's
Okay.
going to improve our it's going to improve our finances in that way. Groceries, they're going to start to come down. And the reason why is people are going to become more educated. Grocery prices have gone up. I'm not going to lie. Everyone sees that and it's like, whoo, way to go,
Mhm.
lady. That's smart. But it's consumerism and it's marketing. So, for example, when you go to a supermarket, I don't want to, we'll say, okay, a superstore, for example.
Yes.
I
Yes.
go to a superstore and I can buy two butter or two margarine, and it says they're 2.99 or 5.99 each. But when you buy two, they become 4.99 each.
Hmm.
So you save $1 by buying two, but you can only
Yes.
get the sale if you buy two. Well,
Yes.
geez, I must also buy two. That's why our grocery bills are up so high.
And let me add to that, points cards. And so, and again,
So
I'm not gonna say, uh,
it's Sobeys is bad for that too. And
they
so
have they have the scene
Optimum,
card,
they
the
have this,
scene card.
you
Yep.
buy 10, you get 50 points.
Yes.
And it's like that people are seeing these things now in 2025.
Yes. Well, last night I purchased an item that I normally would have not purchased,
Mhm.
and it was a little bit more expensive. And the reason I chose it was because it was giving you 500 points.
Exactly.
And 500 points is halfway to it's halfway to $10 off your next.
Exactly. It's a
And
$5 off. And
yes.
when you look at those things, and I've said this right from the beginning, 10 or 15 years ago when these point systems were a thing, they're not free groceries.
Hmm.
It's a coupon for
Yes.
so much dollars off of free groceries. So you're already paying inflated prices. I am the girl that will buy one and I'm saving money buying one.
Yes.
So I don't care if it's 7.99. Like I do care because 5 years ago or 3 years ago, that was only 3.99. Now it's 7.99, but I refuse to buy two for $12
Hmm.
because I've already spent $5 more. So what'll happen in 2025 is people are going to start to see through that. I shop at Sobeys because they're two for $4 or one for $2. Now they will say you buy four and you get 100 points. Am I tempted to buy four? Sometimes, depends on what it is, if I'm going to consume it. Do I need 5 bottles of mayonnaise? No, I need one,
Yes.
or I need one jar of peanut butter.
Yes. Or
So,
4 loaves of bread. You don't need four
right,
loaves.
I need one loaf of bread. I will
Mm-hmm.
occasionally do the 2 for $5,
Mm-hmm.
but I only buy one loaf. What I need, I buy one of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because I have been taken. And when my mom called me up and she's like, I've got blueberries here for you. And I'm like, blueberries? Oh, why? She's they were on sale at Superstore. I saved money. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, you could get a little pint was $3.99, or I could get the big one, 2 for $15. And
Mhm,
I'm like, or 2 for $12, I think it was, or something like
mhm,
that, the bigger ones. So I said to her, are you going to use all those blueberries? Well, that's why I'm giving them to you.
mhm,
Okay. So she had spent double what she was going to spend on a little one. And then she had gotten two of the big ones, but she's not even going to use one of the big ones. So she gives ones to me,
mhm.
which I'm going to put in my freezer and use some other time. But when I brought that up to her, I said, Mom, you didn't save any money. You just spent $5 extra or $15, like $12 extra.
Yes.
She didn't understand. And I told her that again. Like, and so now when she goes to the grocery store, she buys one.
Mhm,
And that's kind of like you're saying about points card. That's what's going to happen in 2025. People are going to look at things a little bit more. Our eyes are opened, our ears are
yeah.
open. We're sick and tired of shit.
Yes.
We're sick
Yes.
and tired of it.
Of
And
the of the
this
of
is of
the
everything. The
the
high price of groceries, the high price of gas just went up 10 cents. The high price of gas,
mhm,
questioning of why is gas going up 10 cents? Nothing happened,
exactly, exactly.
right? You have so many excuses. Why is rent so expensive? Those are the questions that are going to start to come up
Mhm,
now. And they're going to come up for the next 6 months. And then after June, come this summer, when our tourism is down a lot more, again, there going to start to be more questions. Why is tourism down? We have the people that we wanted in at this point in time voted.
mhm, yep,
So why? And it's because of the lies that we've been given.
mhm,
And we're going to look at that a little bit more. We're also going to look at our media a little bit more closely in 2025. We're just going to look at that and go, okay, what is it that I need to hear? So if you look at the background of the media and you go, okay, there did the same company or the same media conglomerate are owned by one another. So you might have three companies that are owned by the same conglomerate and they're all doing the same story with a different spin. So you're not getting a different outlook. You're still getting that that person was bad and that person
yes,
did this, this, and this, right? Just like, oh, this homeless encampment was really bad. There was needles everywhere, da 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 da. They didn't know that the needles that were there were for people who were diabetic and who didn't have a canister
yes.
put them in, right? That's just like something that goes off the top of my mind. I'm sure that people by now are just like, this girl's driving me crazy. But this is what I see in 2025,
Mhm,
at a whole different way of thinking. And we're in the age of Aquarius. Like I said, that's about questioning things that are happening in our world. Our Aquarian friends are amazing. They are the ones that call us out for things, but they're so laid back.
mhm,
They're like, if you look, the opposite sign of Aquarius is a Leo. If you look at our Leo who are intense, they're a lot of fire. They're give me the 7 seconds and walk away. You have your Aquarius that are the opposite. They're like, they're laid back, they're chilled. They don't really want even the 7 seconds, but they'll take it if someone's going to listen to that
yes,
kind of
yeah,
thing. They're
yeah,
all about the world stage. And we're actually heading into Aquarius energy. So into January and February is going to be amazing coming up for us.
mhm.
I'm not going to go into negativity stuff. It's
No,
all going to happen. We got to look at our positive now. Start looking at the positive stuff that's going to start to happen. Looking at it from a different perspective.
yes. We've
Sure.
been living under this dark cloud for too long. It's
God,
time to start parting the
let's
cloud
just
and
look
looking at the
this
sun.
cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Mars is coming up. Mars is going to start retrograding soon.
Mhm,
That's the god of war. And Mars,
yeah.
if we look at that in a different way, it's not about fighting and about all this war. It's about fighting back and about asking questions.
Yes. And you know what? Okay, so I'm gonna just go back to Trump
Mhm.
just briefly,
Yep.
just
Mhm.
briefly. Now you said that the way you were describing him, he's more of a figurehead.
Right.
And so
Mhm.
what I've been seeing is Trump is not here to lead the masses. He's
Nope.
here to make you and me and everybody else stand up and saying, holy shit, is that what you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were talking. And so, and then once everybody is able to stand up and say, I'm sick and tired of the groceries. I'm sick and tired of this rent. I'm tired, 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 tired. And now it's time to part the clouds. We're going to hold hands. We're going to heal each other. And Trump is
Kumbaya,
going to,
baby.
and
Kumbaya.
Trump is going to say, my job here is done.
I think going back to him a little bit, is he has said he's come through bankruptcy a few times.
Mhm.
I have met Trump. I've touched his hand. I got the worst energy. There's two people that I've got the worst energy from. He has actually been very rude to me, him and Ryan Seacrest. When
I've heard about
I
Ryan
touched
Seacrest.
Ryan
Yeah.
Seacrest's hand, when I shook his hand, it was empty. When I shook Trump's hand, it was very much emptiness and just, ugh. But he has this energy of he has no idea what the fuck is going on. And excuse me for
Hmm.
cursing, but that's who I am. And he was put there in the first place because he has always said the American public is stupid enough to vote me in as president. But he
Mm.
knows that what's happening, he's kind of putting himself, he's not going to be a hero. He's not going to go down in history. He might as the worst president, because there are worst ones that were there. Let's just get that straight. There's been better ones too, but everybody is good and everybody is bad in their own way. So they're not going to please everybody. That's why you have two parties. So in the States, he is going to come forward and he's going to be like, that my work here is done.
You know, it's funny you should say that. I get the pleasure of shaking Tim Houston's hand last
Mm-hmm.
August, and I can't say that it gave me an empty feeling. It gave me a feel like I was in my car. He actually reached inside my car from
Mm-hmm.
the passenger side
Mm-hmm.
over top of my mother and reached in and shook my hand, and I held on tight to his hand, and my thought was, man, we need to have a conversation, you and me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He didn't leave me with an empty feeling or a feeling of I don't care, I'm just here for the
Mm-hmm.
pension, blah blah blah. He gave me a feeling of, I really care, I'm just in the wrong shoes.
Agreed. And I
That's
think,
what, and I thought,
yeah.
okay, that because I touched his hand and that's the feeling I got.
Mm-hmm.
I actually let go of his hand because I thought, no, if I drag him inside my car and drive away, well, that would,
You're committing a crime.
I'm committing a yes.
Right.
But he gave me a very good, heartfelt feeling, and I thought
Yeah.
that's the first time I've ever voted for a conservative.
He is trying to be somebody he's not. And the issue there is that he probably has a liberal heart, but he's in a PC party.
Hmm.
He believed in a lot of the things that Ian Rankin did. He did.
Hmm.
However, he's in a different party. Now, do I believe in a lot of what Tim Houston does? No. I actually think that he could do so much more and he could set a better example as a humanitarian and say, you know what, I own property. Let me set the example by doing a rent cap.
Hmm.
So I think he's put
Yes,
into the situation, but you're right. What I read from him is that he is a little fish in a big sea.
and he knows he's that little fish.
Right. And I think he didn't sell his soul to the devil,
No.
but people will make him believe he did.
Yes. Yeah.
And I try to see the good in people. And
Hmm.
now I get angry and pissed off because I was the first one that was like, Tim Houston, you're a liar.
Hmm.
But I love to be able to touch his energy. I love to have a conversation with him. Reading him is, I love reading the people and I love reading their spirit, because what they're presenting to the world is not necessarily what their spirit is presenting.
Exactly. Yes.
We're looking at it from a very different
Yes.
perspectives. Brian Hicks from New Brunswick,
Oh, Blaine Hicks.
Blaine Hicks.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got
He,
his blocks up spiritual-wise.
yes.
I've broken that down.
Hmm.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
chick in Alberta, same thing. Whatever, I can't remember her name.
Oh,
Danielle
Danielle Smith. Now,
Smith.
see, I
She's
am a bit of a
different.
Smith fan.
I
I
don't like the
do.
way she's presented the information that she's have.
Yeah.
I'm not in and of the maybe the same opinion of her, but there's she's not all bad either.
No, no, not at all.
So,
Okay,
but do I agree?
so
Anyway, I was
let's
just going to bring up about one more thing about Trump is that he
sure.
is a Gemini. So you're going to
Yes.
get two different sides of him. He's a June 14th Gemini. And it's funny because that's what's going to happen in and around his birthday is when things are going to start to change. Now he's going to be 80 years old on his birthday.
Hmm.
That's old. That's only 2 years, I think, younger than Biden.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're going to see him slow down a lot. He's tired. His family members want the presidency more so than he wanted the presidency.
Yes.
His family members, his son in particular, is not going to be president.
No. No.
He also has a moon that is in his moon. It's really interesting when I look at that because his moon's in Sagittarius. So he has a Sagittarian moon and he has a Leo ascendant. So he's fire. So he's got the fire to do it. The
Mhm.
Sagittariuses are like, whatever, here it
Whatever.
is.
Yeah.
This is the way it is. So he's led his emotions. His moon is led by Sagittarius.
Hmm.
So let's look at some change. He's going to be changing. Things are going to change for him too. So let's get off the politics altogether. People are
Yes.
probably tuned out by now because they're
Okay.
sick of politics.
Let's oh, what is there a direction you want to go?
I think that I want to take a look at like we just touched on some heavy issues like with homelessness.
Mhm.
Homelessness is not going to end, but if I'm talking about particularly Nova Scotia, we're going to see some changes there.
Mhm.
The biggest thing that's going to happen to the entire world on the world stage is a different perspective. Now, the wars, they're not going to end, they're going to subside, and you're not going to see them be as prominent, right?
Mhm.
They're brought to our forefront now, and they're going to kind of dwindle down. And a lot of these conspiracy theories that I've been talking about, you're going to find some of them true,
Mhm. Absolutely. Yes.
right? And some of them about different entities. And I'm not going to say anything because I'm not having people come after me. I had a story from about 15 years ago where I had predicted, seen a death happen, told people who had contacted me exactly what had happened, where to find the body. They did, everything did it, spoke to a police officer about it, they found it. And then I, when that information was shared, the person that actually did it threatened me
Threatened you. Hmm.
and knew information about me that was very personal, private,
Hmm.
and caused me to be very cautious of my
Hmm.
moves. So
Yes.
that kind of was a lesson for me to go, yes, I believe this, and yes, I know this is what's going to happen, but to not give the information to people who need to hear it,
Hmm.
right? Because that was about don't ever stay part in this part of the city. I mean,
Hmm.
or this part of the country, because yeah. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to put theories out there either, because I also
Hmm.
don't like influencing people. What I do, who I vote for, whether I took a jab or not, any of those things, that's not for me to tell out loud. If you ask me, I will tell you, but I don't want my decisions in my life affecting your life.
Yes. And your personal decisions are not. I mean,
I
that shouldn't be who you promote yourself
Right.
as.
Hmm.
You are Lori, human
Yep.
being, and
Human
that's all
being.
people need to know.
Right.
I am a human
So
being,
a
and there you
spiritual
go.
being, like
Yep.
all of that. So when we're talking about the job there a couple of years ago, I had a whole spectrum in my family of non, half, full kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So, you know, we had that. We have a rainbow family. We have a rainbow things that happen in our
Mm-hmm.
family. So,
Yeah. Yes.
so
Yes.
we've touched on that topic. Is there any topic that's of interest to you?
Uh, hmm. Let me see. I'm wondering if we got about 10 minutes.
Mhm.
How about we touch on the good old Farmer's Almanac? What do you
Ah, the
see? What
weather.
do you see about our weather?
Ah, I see the January is going to be pretty bad. Like if you're looking at Atlantic Canada,
Mhm.
we're going to see some snow. February is going to be a kind of a repeat of about 4 years ago when we had a snowstorm every week,
Yes, I
right?
remember that.
February is going to start out with no snowstorm. Then it's going to ease into snowstorm, snowstorm, and it's not going to affect school like the kids want it to.
Hmm.
It's going to affect commutes, weekends, plans. What I want you to understand is that snowstorms, things that keep us inside, is things that keep us reflecting on who we are.
Hmm.
So every time there's an event like that, so snowstorms, January, February. March, a lot of rain.
Hmm.
We also are going to see a lot more natural disasters this year, unfortunately.
Yes, I was thinking
That's
the
the
same.
land cleaning itself, right?
Yes.
So there's lots of lessons we learn from weather, right? And that is preparation,
Hmm.
being prepared, our relationships with people, our reliance on technology and power and so on, and our own personal beliefs. So,
Hmm.
what is important to us? So, instead of looking at the weather going, geez, we're going to get snowstorms or we're going to have a lot of this and a lot of that, we got to start to say, I need to be more prepared. And how do
Hmm.
I become personally prepared? Start reflecting on that. Going back to personal finances, it has hand in hand with weather as well. Because it's not until we find that we have an overconsumption of food in our freezer because everything was on sale
Yes.
that we lose it when we lose our power. A lot of power outages are coming. People that are going to have power are the people that live off the grid.
Hmm. Yes.
So,
So that being said,
mhm,
living in the digital world, a lot
mhm,
of people use their cards, and well, I'm not going to say what I have stashed, but I have something stashed.
mhm,
And when it comes to ATMs and whatnot being shut down, internet being shut down due to power outages or
mhm.
whatever storm is being created or is happening, have a stash of cash.
I believe that everybody should have a stash of cash. I believe that everybody should have, I keep $20 inside of my wallet. $20 you say will buy you nothing. $20 will buy me a loaf of bread when I need
Yes.
a loaf of bread. You know, being homeless, that's what has taught me is how to take $20 and make it into a meal
Yes.
or many meals. So have some resources. What is it that's best for you? Like when I've had over the last few years, I've been like there's might be a stash of money here when I say to the universe, I want to save up money for a trip. I mean, I don't have the means to go on a trip now, and that just might be a pipe dream. And
Hmm.
you need to have a goal working towards it. And that's what we should be having stashed away as well, is a few dollars set to, and you notice the lights just went out there.
I
So
know.
that's definitely something that the universe
Yes.
is agreeing with.
And you have little footsteps there up
Little
above you.
footsteps. That's my
Yes.
little guy, my little footsteps in the background. But the lights just went out and your background there. And then
Yes.
when I
Yeah.
do a live, things like that happen. It's like a confirmation for me. But you're right. ATMs are going to go down. You're going to see banking systems collapse.
Hmm.
So banking, like start looking at the bank in a different way. Um, because they have gone down. Private, you're going to see a lot more privacy issues happen, a lot more things happening with that. These are things to test larger corporations and also us when people about sharing your information, becoming more personal with that. Do they need my personal information? When you're
Exactly.
identifying yourself on the phone or on the internet, who else can see that? Who else is protected? Many years when they went home for COVID and they were banking from home, there was a lot of things that happened that ATMs went down, a lot of security breaches. We don't know who's behind us and we have a housing crisis. So the housing crisis means that there's 7 people living in an apartment and you're working from home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely have some money stashed aside. Have some canned goods stashed as well aside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and teach yourself one skill, whether it be to barbecue a hot dog on a barbecue, how to turn on a propane tank. I know I say these things and people roll their eyes, but when
Yes.
you're in a matter of an emergency and
Yes.
you don't know how to do those things, you become very frustrated and angry with yourselves. This year, it's about being resourceful and going, you know
Yes.
what? I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to learn and not necessarily cut wood, but why am I getting like picking up an object and going, I got a feeling that I just got to buy this. Not saying like do the hoarding thing, but buying maybe some skewers,
Mm-hmm.
bring home a
Yep.
skewer. That's how I can light a candle is
Yes.
a skewer if I don't have any matches, right?
Eh,
And learning those kind of things, we're going to have
yes.
some bad weather that's going to happen, things that are going, we're going to have to survive. So,
And so I work at one of these grocery stores. I'm not going to say which one, but I
mhm,
do work at a grocery store. And so I have many, many different personalities coming through my
mhm,
register all the time.
mhm,
And
mhm,
some people, as soon as I make eye contact, I think, oh, you're a good person to have a conversation with
mhm,
while I'm ringing through your products. Anyway, this man came through and he was very outdoorsy kind of guy, and it's a very rural area, so being somebody outdoorsy, it's not uncommon around here. But this particular man, he said something um, about being resourceful.
mhm,
I think because he had like a whole bunch of beans, like dried beans. And
mhm,
I sometimes I'll make a comment because I like to talk about recipes as I'm ringing people through.
mhm,
And I said, "Oh, looks like you're going to be making some chili." And he's like, "No, no, no, this is going in my stash." Oh,
mhm,
okay. And then he said, and then he asked me, "Do you guys sell lighters?" And I said, "Well, no, we don't. We have barbecue lighters, but we don't have like the regular lighters that you stick in your
flowers,
pocket."
mhm,
And he mentioned something about um, he's building some things so that he can start fires without having, to rely on a lighter or anything.
mhm,
And I said, you know what? A good pocket of fat would be ideal. And he looked and he's like, you know what fatwood is? And I said, yes, I do, because I did my research. I know exactly what fatwood is. I know what char cloth is. And
mhm,
he's like, you are the first person I have ever met that when I say fatwood, you know what I'm talking about, or
mhm.
char cloth. Learn what fatwood is. Learn what
Right.
char cloth is. Learn how to change a tire. Learn
Mhm.
how to learn how to put that tarp over
Yep.
some wood so that you're going to stay dry without asphyxiating yourself.
Mhm.
Learn
Also,
those things.
learn about irrigation systems. Learn
Irrigation,
about
yes.
like taking rainwater and being able to boil the rainwater and make that into something that you can use to bake with, you can drink with, you can brush your teeth with, even without boiling it. You can also have boiled down alcohol, 70% alcohol,
Yep.
and making alcohol burners. And I could I know how to, I've got this repertoire of things that I do, but I can build a tiny home from the ground up. I've
Mhm.
had all the training and also have my energy efficiency that I can live off of the grid. If I really
Mhm.
needed to, wanted to, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I would survive.
Yes, I
I
know I
mean,
could.
I'm
Yes.
totally would
Yes.
probably be the first one eaten by them because I can't run. So I would definitely trip and fall, but I would
Yeah.
give it the best effort.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, I would actually, I always say the what would happen to me in a zombie apocalypse is I would walk towards them and command them and say, "All hail, Queen of the Zombies."
Yes.
So either
Yes.
I stay alive and become the Queen of the Zombies, or I die and I become Queen of the Zombies. Either way, you're getting Queen of the Zombies.
Either way,
Just
yes.
saying. So you can do it
Um,
either
and
way.
on the flip side of that, being in the rain, if you're in a drought situation, there's a great way you can go out into the middle of the desert and you can draw
Mhm.
water from the desert.
Yep.
Um, as long as you have, you know, a plastic container and some cellophane, I guess.
Well,
There's a
and I
there's a
think
good way.
it's there's a lot of things that we can do to make ourselves
Mhm.
resourceful. And that's one thing. So what I'm saying is just to do one thing, teach your child to do one thing. We were talking about
Yep.
in class today, my lunch monitoring students, they were talking about bow and arrows. And they I said, yeah, I said, you don't want to shoot a moose with a bow, or I said, you really don't want to do that with a deer either. You want to go for the smaller animals. And they're like, you hunt? And I'm like, as part of I don't, but as part of our culture, we have a moose hunt that we do. We didn't do it a lot this year because it's over and over like we're underpopulated of our moose.
Mhm.
But our culture, that's what we do. And we use each part of the animal and so on. And to know how to be able to fish in the ice, which my son knows how to do. So
Mhm.
he's like, I can drill a hole in the middle of the ice. I know the ice, how thick it is, and he's 10 years old.
Mhm.
He can do that. I can make an alcohol burning stove to be able to cook that fish.
Mhm.
I have my sister who can bake you some looski, our bread, without even putting it in an oven. She can do it over top of a barbecue.
Mhm.
So we have a meal with three different
Yep.
people.
Exactly.
So if you learn one thing and then somebody else learns something else, you know, you
Yep.
that's what I'm talking about being resourceful. So you may not know everything, but take your talent and go, you know what? I'm going to be the person that's going to grow beans.
Exactly.
I'm going to
Exactly.
grow tomatoes. I'm going to
Yes.
do that person, or I'm going to be the one that's organized because we need those people too. We need the people that have
Yes.
all their crap together, everything in envelopes, everything like that. Put
We
yourself aside
Yep.
$10, what you can afford to do in an
Yes.
envelope. And when things happen and go down and there's
Mhm.
trades that are going to happen, you have the cash. We need to get back to having cash in society instead of
Mhm.
cashless society.
Yes.
It's, we need to get back to that. And I get it. There's a lot of fraud that happens 100%. I was a banker for 16 years, understand fraud, understand all that stuff. Just have some cash
Mhm.
and, you know, have
Mhm.
stashes of things that you might need and not just going to a criminal mind. Like, that's not where
You
this is
don't have to be a
going.
criminal. Yeah.
Right.
It's
You
survival. Yeah.
know, and sometimes people go into survival mode in a different way. We all survive something, but our story is all different.
Yes.
So we all have different triggers of things that we're going to say and do. But
Yes.
if we can be the person that's calm in the storm,
Mhm.
maybe that's what we're going to lend to it. But learn something because 2025, it's not the roller coaster ride that 2024 is going to be. It's not that oh my God, that this happened again. It's,
Mm.
oh my God, let's fix it.
Let's fix it.
I'm just tired of the crap.
Yes.
Let's fix it. And that's what
Yeah.
2025 is about. It's a 9 year. It's a year of
Yes.
just the endings, the stuff. I will say going to the end of the year, November, December, October, November, December, the last 3 months of the year, that's when you're going to really go, okay, it's time for me to get rid of things that I no longer want to take through to my number 1 year, my
Perfect.
first year.
Perfect.
That's time, like,
So,
get rid of it.
yes. So, now we've come to the end here,
Ah.
and I know it's not going to be the end. This is actually the beginning
Yes,
of what we're going to be doing. Sorry. And
I would love to have.
technology for me is going to be a little bit better next time.
Yeah, that's okay. And I think I would love to see what people have the
Yeah,
questions that they have. I'm not interested in people arguing with me. Sorry, I understand
yep,
where people go with it. I'm not interested. I will not answer arguments. I will not
yeah,
answer people who have the negativity
yeah,
smashing at me. This
yeah.
is what I see. This is
Yes.
what I've been doing this for far too long to ignore it. I've made predictions with my clients. I actually have done predictions in the past, but decided not to put them out there publicly because of backlash that I would receive. So this is
Yes.
kind of my first time that I've done
Hmm.
that. I've done,
Okay.
there's been a lot. It's funny, I predicted COVID, had no idea I
Hmm.
predicted COVID, not a clue. I had several of my clients come through in the middle of it and say, "Did you realize that you predicted this?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
But I was seeing empty
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
world shutting down. And it was weird. But anyway, let you.
Anyway. Okay. So, yeah. So again, we've just come to kind of the end of our first real show. I mean, the last one was pretty good. But I think what what I can see happening, this is my prediction,
Mhm,
is that we're going to continue this hopefully weekly. If
mhm,
not weekly, then bi-weekly. But either way, we're going to continue on because I love having conversations with you.
mm.
You're amazing. I love it so much. I love your conversations.
Well, I
And
appreciate that. And I think there's going to be different things that are going to come up,
yeah,
more
and
specifics.
we can bring more people on to have these discussions with us, or
Mhm,
you can have them. Either way, it's this is going to continue on. And so we touched on a little bit of US politics, Canadian politics, money situation, and a little bit of the Farmer's Almanac. I guess you could say we went in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Anyway,
Just be prepared.
let's
Have some
yeah,
gasoline.
just be prepared. Absolutely. And not just for the weather, like the rain, the snow, and volcanoes and all that stuff, and earthquakes, but be prepared for the government Farmer's Almanac,
Yeah,
quote unquote.
the collapsing, like it's not
Yes,
the collapsing of governments, it's the
it's
way that we're
changes.
looking at the change.
Exactly. Exactly.
2025 is the year of I'm done with the bullshit.
I am done. I am so done. We're starting from
Stick a
scratch.
fork in me, I'm done. Eights were a tough year, sevens were tough years. Nine
Yeah,
is like, you know what? I'm just
I'm
tying it
done.
all up and throwing
Yeah,
it out. But
exactly.
we're more knowledgeable now because we survived 2024, we survived 2023,
Hmm.
we survived it. And we thought of things differently. We found a way to survive. So, everybody, congratulations for surviving
And
2024
exactly.
in
Exactly.
however way you did it.
And if you are a healer, if you are the one that stood up and said, I'm not taking the pokey pokey,
Hmm.
then congratulations to you for standing up at the very beginning. That being said, I will not discredit anybody who did take the pokey pokey. I will
Hmm.
never ever say, oh, we told you so. Never, never,
No,
never.
no. And
We are here to help
yeah,
you work through that. So,
so being a healer, it's about standing up and saying,
yes,
you
exactly.
know what, it not just that issue, it's about standing up and going, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
And we've been talking in the healing community for a long time about, I'm even different in the healing community. People have their ways of doing it.
Yeah.
But when I talk with spirit, I do a lot of energy work. I'm a hands-on healer, so I can touch you, take away that, I feel it, like very much
Yes.
intuitive and so on. So you're never going to quite meet anybody like me. I always have what I say, a weirdo energy, but I stand up for what I believe in, even though there's a lot of people that don't. When we look at people on different planes of being, they're thinking in a different world, in a different way, based on what they've known and come to know in their upbringings. So as a healer, I'm like, okay, let's kind of step back from 2024 and go into 2025 and go, I set the stage to heal. Now I'm going to go through with healing myself.
Correct. Yes.
So we're going to heal the
Amazing.
people around us. We're going to learn new things in 2025. Cannot wait to talk to everybody again, to have people, comment on some things and ask what I think about this, or what's the opinion on
Yes.
that, or what
Yes.
is coming through.
And if somebody wants to come on and have a conversation with us or just Lori,
Hmm.
please do drop us a line, put a comment in. You're more than welcome to come in and have a discussion with us.
And
Okay,
we'll definitely
so
have different backgrounds next time, and both of
absolutely.
us may be wearing our
I
beautiful.
wasn't even expecting. So obviously I didn't even brush my hair. These are not my
Yeah,
regular
see?
headphones. I can't find my headphones.
And
My
as,
microphone
as you
is
can tell
somewhere.
by the way I do this, I'm a
Yes.
Leo
Yeah,
about
okay.
my
Yeah.
hair.
I'm
So
Aquarian, so I like to have things
you're
tidy,
an
and
Aquarian.
so I'm a
Yep.
little bit
And
disheveled at the moment.
it's really funny because Aquarians and Leos are exactly the opposite sign, but they get along
Opposites attract.
absolutely the
Yes.
best. And
Okay.
my ascendant is an Aquarian. So
Much love to you, Lori, and much love to your little guy. I
mm,
won't say his name, but he
yeah,
knows I know his name,
yeah,
and you know why I'm sending some
mm,
love to him. So,
yeah,
and much love to
definitely.
everybody who is tuning in, and I will see you next time.
If you have to
Thank you.
fast forward through parts of it, I'm still worth listening to.
Absolutely. If you fast forward, then go back and listen again.
Right.
Bye
Bye,
now.
everyone.